Hello Nidorinas and Nidorinos, I'm KingNido and welcome to Season A3 of the PokeType League TCG. With this video ahead, we're going to be going through the deck lists for this season.
3, 2, 1, go!
And just quickly going over the rules of this league, there is a team for each type, plus one mixed team, our rainbow team, and there will be 3 decks per side. All of these decks will be non-EX themed decks, so they're not necessarily going to be meta relative, but they must have 3 evolutionary lines in each of them, drafting from the Celestial Guardians, the Extradimensional Crisis, and the Eevee Grove decks. If they don't have enough though, they can draft from previous expansions, but it is the best of 3 games that lead to our top 5 final system. Every game though does count, so all teams must play their best because they get 2 points for each win in every game. As well as that though, once we do hit Victory Road with our top 5 sides, they must win with all 3 decks to progress to our Champions game. But looking at our first team, it is the Holland Allies with their Angel Grove deck. And this is where we said those non-EX decks. This is the one exception we are going to make this season because they can have the Eevee EX cards in each of these decks. They each have one Eevee EX, first being in this Angel Grove deck with also the Umbreons and the Flareons. But as soon as those Eevee EX can evolve, they must evolve them at the earliest opportunity. This is our Team Friendship deck, and we are workshopping that name of course, but with that said, as soon as that Eevee can evolve, they must do it at the earliest opportunity, even if it does not benefit the Holland Allies, who are trying to come back after not winning a single series last season. And their final deck with the Vaporeons, the Glaceons, and the Jolteons, they've also got the Vikavolt here. It is our Tropical Takedown deck. So these multi-type decks will have obviously multiple types being produced in those energy zones. We'll see if they can have better fortunes this season with all those evolutions amongst the sides. But next is our Levere Constrictors, their first deck being the Ruins of Life. Those Bayonets will be very powerful here, we can imagine. They've got the Oricorios and the Tapu Leles, plus that Necrozma inside the deck. We will see if they can bounce back because they were unable to make it into Victory Road last season with their second deck being the Thrifty Treats deck. No Sweets Relays and those Sweets Overload. If they can come online with those Alcremies and the Slowpuffs, they can maximize their damage here against opposing sides. The potential output is massive for the Levere Constrictors, with their final deck being the Forbidden Light deck, where they do have that Necrozma. They've got the Shinotics as well that can help them empty their deck even quicker, but those Dawnwings Necrozma can be very powerful. Also, you'll consistently see Poison Barbs throughout many decks in these teams, but they've got those Guzmas to try and offset it as we look at the Pastoria Hydros with this Luminous Frost deck. Now they've got the Vanillish, the Sandslash, and the Ninetales lines all in this deck. Those rare candies will be very useful though, as their second deck is the Ruins of Hope. They've got that Tapu Fini, but they've also got the Sharpedo and the Primarina line. That Primarina hoping to restore health as it does progress with those damage. They've got the 2 rare candies as well to hopefully try and get them quicker online, and the Lucamine, as their final deck is the Brooklet Hill deck. This will have those Cloisters, but it's the Araquanid as well, and the Pukamuku, who I may trip over their name throughout this season, but they will try to do that recoil damage if they are moved into the discard pile. And again, those Guzmas coming into play, as it is now the Levincia Wonders. Their first deck is the Blush Mountain deck, and we've seen Golems be an absolute menace in the PokeType League TCG before. Now it is the Alolan Golem who will be trying to bring it here for the Levincia Wonders, as they're trying to make their debut into Victory Road, not having made it in our previous 2 seasons. Their second deck will be the Ruins of Conflict deck. They've got those Luxrays with those Intimidates to reduce the attack that opposing sides can do, but it's also those Tapu Kokos with the Volt Switch coming into play. It is the Electrical Cord that they will try to capitalize on, and the Sophocles with those Togedemaru's, with our next and final deck for the Wonders being the Lost Thunder deck. They've got the Galvantulas, as well as having those Zeraoras who can produce energy for themselves on their very first turn, so they can actually get online by that 3rd turn to start doing 50 damage. We can also see the Xurkitries in this deck, as next it is the Melomelo Rumbles, and their first deck after missing out on Victory Road last season as they were the reigning champions. They've got the Rock Face Rumble deck with the Lycanrocs and the Conkeldurs, with that Guts ability as well on the Conkeldurr, whose name I always go back and forth on, but it can potentially hold on with 10 health remaining. Their second deck will also have Lycanroc, this being the Midnight form. It is their Rock Steady deck. We've seen the power of Mian Showers throughout the seasons of the PokeType League TCG. Those big Malasada's as well are commonplace amongst mana sides as they want to cure themselves from those poison barbs. And the last deck for the Rumbles will be that Beach Bash deck. Again, a returning Metachan, but it is those Palisades and the Persimmons as well. Those Persimmons can actually do extra damage if the other Persimmon, is on the bench. But it will be our next side being the Kitakami Rogues, who did make it into Victory Road last season. They've got those Alolan variants of the Raticates and the Persians, as well as being with those Lipards. It is this Po Town deck where they've actually got 2 Guzmas if they want to rid the opposing side of their Pokemon tools, whether they be the leftovers or those poison barbs. Their third deck is the Skull and Bone deck. It has those Crocoroks, the Toxapex and the Sableye as well. They've got those rare candies in place once again with that Lily to restore health for that Crocorock if it does take any damage. And the final deck, the Alter Genesis deck. This deck is all about trying to poison the opposition, whether it be with that Nihilego, the Naganadel, and that Absol will absolutely capitalize on any Pokemon with a status condition on the opposing side as the Rogues look to return to Victory Road this season. Our next side will be the Turffield Ebonies, who were wiped out of Victory Road last season. They've got the Leaf Charge deck, who will have no one safe on their bench with those sniping arrows from the Decidueyes and the Pheromoses, being able to target the bench as well. We can see those Lucamines that are commonly inside of decks that have Beast, those Ultra Beasts as well, but the Ebonies then have the Ruins of Abundance deck with those Alolan Exegutors trying to get off 150 damage with those Tropical Hammers. And they do have the Tapu Bulu as well as that Serena, but their final deck will be the Lush Jungle deck with the Glycopod. They've also got the Shiinotic. It is obviously the Grass type Shiinotic for the Turffield Ebonies with those Mallows in hand, and we'll continue to see those Poison Barbs, but this side will also have the Leaf Capes that they can capitalize on to add an additional 30 health to their sides, as the Olivine Raiders had a terrible showing in Victory Road, unable to win a single game, let alone a series. But their first deck will be the Super Burst Impact deck with those Alolan Dugtrios, the Ferrothorns, who can return that 20 damage if they take any damage as well, and the Magina. The Raiders' second deck will be the Laser Focus deck with the Aggron that can do 150 damage with that Giga Impact. And Mormor once again appearing for the Olivine Raiders, as well as those Togedemaras once again appearing with the Sophocles to help boost their damage. And the final deck, the Ultra Wormhole deck with those Stack Attackers, the Melmetals, and that Dusk Mane Necrozma appearing for the Raiders as they look to offset damage they take and maximize the damage they do to the opposing sides. And our next side, who made it all the way to the Champions Game, the Petalburg Razors with their Verdant Cavern deck, and we can see the Orangaroos and the Bewares, those Delcatties looking to produce those colorless energies as well for their side to help those Bewares and Orangaroos get online even quicker. We can also see the Gumshoes that this side has, but their second deck will be the Awakened Heroes with those Silvallies, who will be looking to capitalize on those supporter cards that they've got all through this deck to maximize the damage that they can output. They've also got the Kamala and the Celesteelers. And that final deck for the Razors is the Imperial Command deck. They've got the Stoutland, but they've also got that Gridden that can do additional damage with a Pokemon tool attached to it. And there is an error here where they've got the Ilma? Apologies for how I'm saying that, where it is in fact a leftovers. But finally making their debut, it is going to be the Opelucid Frontiers with their Dragon Majesty deck. And they have been able to draw from previous seasons to fill up their sides as they have enough evolutionary lines now, and it will be the Dragonite and the Dragon returning alongside the Drampa. Their second deck, the Vast Pony Canyon, does have the Garchomp returning, as well as being alongside the Kommo-o and the Hawlucha. They will be producing 3 different energy types for these 2 decks so far for the Opelucid Frontiers, but I cannot wait to see if they can get them online. As their final deck, the Soaring Storm, has got a returning Giratina, but they've also got that second Drampa. They have the Rayquaza in this deck and that 2 cannon line. They will be producing those grass and psychic type energies, but we will be having a look at our champion side, who have the Flare this season. Their first deck being the heel turn deck for the Cinnabar Blazers with those Incineroars, the Heatran making the return because they did not have enough Pokemon to fill the decks here, and those Salazzles that can absolutely leave their opponents with the Burn and the Poison coming into play for the heel turn deck. And And then it's the Walla Volcano deck, where they've got the 2 cannon. This season as well, they also get to use those Turtonators with those 1 stars as a reward for being our champion team, as well as the flares that the other cards have got throughout these decks, as they look to use those Kiaways to maximize those energy productions for the Turtonators. And their final deck will be the Crimson Invasion deck with the Blacephalons. They've also got the Torkoal and the Arcanine there to assist with this team looking to go back to back as our champion side in the PokeType League TCG. But with that said, Nidorinos, thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments below what side you think will win Season A3. And if you enjoyed what you saw, please leave a like, share, subscribe, but more importantly, always remember, send thanks, and I'll see you when you see me.